Daily God's Promise. Day 28, August 28, 2025. Welcome, beloved friends, to Daily God's Promise. Day 28. Today, we embrace a profound and foundational promise from Matthew chapter 19 verse 26. But Jesus looked at them and said to them, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." This promise comes as a direct response to a question of disbelief from Jesus' disciples. They were astonished by his teaching and felt hopeless, but Jesus immediately gave them a promise that would serve as a powerful anchor for all of us. He reminds us that where our ability ends, God's power begins. 1. Acknowledging our impossibility. The first part of this promise is an honest acknowledgement of our human limitations. With men this is impossible. Jesus doesn't dismiss our feelings of helplessness. He validates the reality that there are things we cannot change, fix, or achieve on our own. This honesty is the foundation of genuine faith. The moment we surrender our own efforts and admit our inability is the very moment we are ready to receive God's miraculous power. 2. The promise of God's omnipotence. The second part of the verse is the core of the promise. But with God all things are possible. This is a radical and all-encompassing declaration of God's limitless power. The word, all, leaves no room for exceptions. The promise is that there is no addiction too strong, no relationship too broken, no diagnosis too dire, and no dream too big for God. He is a God who specializes in the impossible, and he delights in showing his power in our weakness. 3. The impossible made possible in the Bible. This promise is demonstrated throughout all of Scripture. In the Old Testament, God made a way through the impossible Red Sea and gave a barren woman, Sarah, a child in her old age. In the New Testament, we see the ultimate proof of his power, the resurrection of Jesus from the dead. This single event proves that no circumstance, no power, and no enemy can stand in the way of God's will. 4. A promise for your life today. This promise is not just for the disciples or for biblical heroes. It is for you. Whether you are facing an impossible financial situation, a broken family, or a deep-seated addiction, this promise is for you. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is the same power that can work in your life today. This promise frees us from our doubt and gives us courage to face our impossible situations with faith. 5. Old Testament cross-references. God specializes in what looks impossible, as in Genesis chapter 18 verse 14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Spoken about Sarah's miracle pregnancy. God's plans cannot be stopped, as from Job chapter 42 verse 2. I know that you can do everything, and that no purpose of yours can be withheld from you. Creation itself proves God's limitless power, as in Jeremiah chapter 32 verse 17. There is nothing too hard for you. 6. New Testament cross-references. God brings forth the miraculous, as in Luke chapter 1 verse 37. For with God nothing will be impossible. Spoken to Mary. Faith unlocks access to God's power, as in Mark chapter 9 verse 23. All things are possible to him who believes. God exceeds human imagination, as in Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. 7. Living in the possibility today. If you are facing a situation that feels completely impossible, stop and give it to God. Acknowledge your limitations, but don't stop there. Declare that, with God all things are possible. Put your faith in his power, not your own, and watch him work in ways you never thought possible. May you find your peace and hope in the limitless power of God. God bless you and give you grace after grace.